All right. Let's talk about Barbarian. Woof. This movie is a ordeal.
It's a wild ass ride from start to finish.
I don't think I've ever been so exhausted emotionally by the movie than I have with this.
It really takes you in a lot of different directions. And the fact that you're constantly like, what? What? And yet you feel all the range of emotions. It's just a spectacle.
It really is. And this movie like is riding the line so much. Like the whole movie, you are wondering, are they going to land this? Like this is really
It's a
doing
lot.
some weird things.
There's a lot of different directions that like have to tie, or a lot of different threads that have to tie together by the end that you're like, I'm just not sure if
And
they're going to
then
be able to land this plane.
They totally land it. Like
It's incredible. Yeah.
it's wild. So yeah, we're talking about Barbarian today. 2022 movie. Came out like what, 3 months ago?
Yeah. Honestly, I think it just came out in I can look it up because I have it right here. September 9th. So it only came out like almost 2 months ago.
Okay. Wow, that's quick to streaming. Love it.
45 days now, and I love it because I feel like I've been waiting for a lot of people to see this movie because everyone was like, go see it. Don't look up spoilers. And I'm the spoiler queen. So I had to see it really quick in theaters, which took a lot of convincing on my part to get my boyfriend to go with me. Because when we saw the trailer for Barbarian, when we went and saw Nope, we almost had to leave Nope because he was like, I think I'm having a heart attack. Because it was like jump scare after jump scare after jump scare in the trailer, which is one of those, totally misleading trailers. And I had to really drive the point home that that's how they market scary movies nowadays.
Mhm.
And all I've heard is that it's a total misdirection. So I can't believe he went and saw it in theaters, but I'm so glad it's having a second wave and everyone's watching it now because it's streaming on HBOMax.
Yeah, I have been waiting for this movie to come to streaming because yeah, like I heard all the same stuff and like everyone that I heard, they're like, this movie's incredible. Don't listen to my review of it because I'm gonna spoil something, but just know it's incredible. You should go watch it. So I've been waiting for this. And then also like when I learned that the director is Zach Cregger, who's from Whitest Kids You Know, I'm just like, what is this gonna turn out like?
Yeah, even more interest, honestly, because I hadn't thought about them for a minute, but I'll be damned if I don't still quote Whitest Kids You Know all the time.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
incredible. They're so fucking funny. And this made me go back and watch a bunch of their skits. And they're so good. And I would say he has lost absolutely none of his comedy skills. If anything, he's really improved everything.
What's your favorite Whitest Kids You Know skit?
I think all time is always going to be Abraham Lincoln and how he really was killed.
Turn around and say it again. Turn around and say it again. Turn around, say it again.
Will you please be quiet?
John, that is the President of the United States.
I don't care who it is, he's ruining Hamlet.
Oh, now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. You have fucked up now. Now you fucked up. 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 Now you have fucked up.
Listen to the woman, John. Just calm down. Just calm down. Calm down.
I could go on and quote everything in that fucking skit. It is so goddamn funny. So I just feel like I say that shit all the time. And
all the time.
That one, but also I was reminded, my boyfriend was like, what about the grapist? And I was like, oh yeah.
You kids look like you could use a delicious fruity beverage.
Who are you? Might I suggest Fizzy Pop's Grape Blast, the new soda from Johnson and Hedges?
Open wide, kids, because I've got to grape you in the mouth.
He's going to what them in the mouth?
He's gonna grape them.
He's going to grape them.
Yeah, in the mouth.
Right.
Sure. There's more.
No, I'm sorry. All right, well, I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with the catchphrase, "I'm gonna grape you in the mouth," for our new mascot.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're just not sure about that one.
Yeah, we might want to workshop it a touch.
Really? Why? That's his thing. He grapes people. He grapes people in the mouth.
Sarah loves the grapist.
Because it's just so fucking funny. I mean, everything. He's like, really? The Grapist? That's the name you're going with?
we can keep going.
Come here, kid! I'm gonna tie you to the radiator and grape you!
Okay,
What? Why'd you stop it?
I'm gonna tie you to the radiator and grape you.
What?
I'm going to rape you. No, that's what it sounds like he's saying.
I love it.
Really?
Are you back on this rape thing again?
Why was he gonna tie them to a radiator?
That's how he grapes people. That's what he does.
No!
He's the grapist.
The grapist? That's his name?
The Grapist, classic.
Zach Cregger is like the main guy who's like questioning the Grapist concept in that sketch. So it's good stuff.
When I heard all of the craziness about Barbarian and then learned that it was written and directed by the Whitest Kids You Know guy, I'm like, what is going to happen in this movie? Oh my God.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I was like, okay, I'm excited, but I was a little concerned because Jordan Peele is another guy who's like all at comedy. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, by the way, I'm also a fucking genius with horror too. It's like, so I was like, I'm excited, but I was also like, I don't want to set the unrealistic Jordan Peele expectation, but Zach Cregger really, really lived up to it. And also Jordan Peele was like a ghost helper on this movie. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, I didn't.
They're friends, and he was involved in some of the story process and then also got to help him with an early cut of the film.
Oh, that's great. I hope this doesn't start a wave of comedians thinking that they can write horror.
I would say horror, if they're writing comedy, they honestly will have a better time of it than like somebody else from like a drama, I feel like, going in, surprisingly. But also, they shouldn't all do it. You're right.
I mean, I'm kind of curious now to see a Ben Stiller horror, because I think Ben Stiller wrote that Apple TV show Severance,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a comedy.
Yeah. Well, he actually has a interesting that you mention it. He optioned a Stephen King story called Rat. It's definitely horror, and Ben Stiller got the rights. He's writing, directing, and starring in it. I don't know when. I think he should be either starting production on it soon, or maybe it's one of those things that won't ever happen. But I think that would be a perfect like little stepstone for him to jump into horror. I'm here for it.
So I just looked this up, and he's already actually kind of put his toe in there. You remember the movie Cable Guy?
Oh, yeah.
I totally forgot that Ben Stiller directed that movie. And it's definitely more of a comedy than a horror. But like,
there's got some horror elements.
It has the beats, you know, but like it's Jim Carrey. So like he can only be so scary. But like there's parts.
Yeah, Jim Carrey can also like, he could fucking do it in a horror movie, as we've seen.
Yeah.
You know, I think, again, not every single person should do it, but I do think that there is a lot of similarities between comedy and horror. And also, if they don't go into the full horror of it, they can do some really excellent horror comedies, I think, which I'm always all about. Those are some of my favorite movies.
Just we've had Jordan Peele and then Zach Cregger, and so far 2 like all stars. And I'm just worried about the drop off we get of just like, oh, 2 for 2. It's just going to keep going.
And then Dane Cook announces he's doing a horror movie, and we're like, I don't know about that.
It's ruined.
Not going to lie. I mean, I don't know how we feel about Dane Cook nowadays, but I still love him and will forever like be able to quote The Nothing Fight by heart, because I mean, I was just, I guess, that age when he came out on YouTube, but
good times with Dane Cook back in junior high.
But we don't need you in the horror genre, dude.
Yeah.
You have fun on your own.
I mean, I'm more worried about like the Kevin Hart horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to scare the shit out of that little guy, though.
It'd be a good creature feature where The Rock is the creature just chasing him. I would watch that. I love those guys. Anyways.
Yeah, let's actually like intro Barbarian, right? We haven't even talked about it.
So yeah, Barbarian came out this year, directed and written by Zach Cregger. The budget for this movie was about $4.5 million. So pretty small budget. It did over 40 million in the box office. So that's shocking to me, just with how weird this movie is, like how much of a hit it became. Like,
It's one of those like word of mouth things where if people are talking about your movie, then like you're gonna do well. But I think we've just seen horror movie after horror movie just kill it at the box office. And that's something that Zach Cregger has said before, is like, I know it's a big risk for a story, but like I think this is something he, like, when he pitched it to Georgina Campbell, who plays Tess, the main character, he was like, I know it's a huge risk of a story and it's crazy, but like horror is the genre where you take a big risk and you will be very well rewarded, because there's not a lot of great horror movies that come out all the time. And when the good one comes out, people fucking go see it. So, and he was right.
Definitely. And people will rewatch horror movies for the rest of their lives.
I've rewatched Barbarian like 5 times since it came out on HBO like a couple days ago. So yeah, I agree with that statement.
So the IMDb plot of this movie is: a woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems.
Like the most basic log line for this movie, and the best way to describe it to people, because it gives away absolutely nothing.
Yeah. That's like a third of the movie.
Those are the first 40 minutes
Yeah, like
of that. That's it.
Like, there is so much that happens beyond that. It's just insane.
Yeah, but again, we will keep that for the spoiler discussion, which is going to be coming up here pretty soon. But
yeah.
But for now, just know that is the general log line of the movie. I think it's all just one of those things. You just need to be surprised by this movie. It will work best. Like, not to hype it up overly, way too much. But I mean, I think just going in and like with knowing that log line of it's a woman at an Airbnb that's sketch. That's all you need to know to go into it.
I'll hype the fuck out of this movie. It's the greatest movie ever made.
Well, I've heard people say that because people hyped it up so much about don't look at anything up before you see the movie, they thought it would be even wilder than it is. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know what you guys were expecting, but I thought it was pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, while we're still in non-spoiler territory, one of the things that I really loved about this movie is there's been a lot of stuff lately with horror movies that has like really big ideas, and people, you could call it the elevated horror, which is just a stupid name. But it's like these really big ideas, complex things that they tie into the movie, like emotional stories that are kind of in parallel with this horror story kind of thing.
A message or of some sort.
And this movie, there are some deep things in it, but the thing that really it reminded me of is like a movie doesn't have to have a lot of complexity to be just a really great time.
Simplicity.
This movie does some super weird things, and it's just a ride. And if you go on it, you're just going to have fun. And those movies are great. You can just have fun with movies. Movies can be these big things, and like you can just have a great time and walk out and be like, what happened? Oh my God.
Sometimes it's good to be wild, but it's wild in a way that's not overly complicated. It's got the basic through line of the woman at the Airbnb that's not what it seems. That is basically the through line of the movie. However, there's some wild turns in there, but it keeps it fairly simple, straightforward. There's other we'll talk about the other kind of big swings, but in general, it's a pretty basic plot.
And I would say that as crazy as this movie is, like, I wouldn't say that there's plot holes. Like, I would say that there is a story that it tells, and the story makes sense. You don't learn everything up front, and it doesn't explain everything that happens as it happens. So, like, you watch the whole movie, and by the end of the movie, all of these pieces connect, and you're like, whoa.
It's weird how it all connects at the end. You'll be shocked, and it is like a little bit jarring at times, the transitions between different tones or like seemingly unrelated sequences of events, but it all comes together perfectly. And I personally enjoyed every single one of the separate bits, on their own, as well as like when it all came together.
Yeah. And the last thing I guess I want to say before we jump into spoilers is this is a movie that we also, especially in the horror fandom, this movie is very, very important because this movie almost didn't get made because it's a Fox movie and it was already in production when Disney acquired Fox, and 100% Disney would have scrapped this movie.
Yes.
They're like, we want nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it is still shocking that it got made because it just does, like you said, it's not the movie that you go to like Disney with, or like fucking, any of the big studios. Like the studio that really got the thing started was Boulder Light Pictures, and it's like I've never heard of them. But I love it. It's like Zach Cregger was saying, he sent this to a bunch of people. He sent it to bigger places, and they were like, we like it, but they wanted him to change all the things that he thought made it special, which I don't think he's ever specified. But I'm like, I can imagine it's some of the wilder shit that happened in this movie. They're like, I don't know about that. But they really, it all worked out in the end. I'm so glad.
All right. So this is your spoiler alert.
Back out,
go watch a movie. Or if you're one of those people that just needs to know what happens before you go into a movie, then you're welcome to be spoiled. We're going to have a great time talking about it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.